Hello everyone, this is Chris here, or you can just call me Mr. Cheeky Monkey's back, or Mr. Cheeky Monkey 1996, whatever, doesn't matter. The point is, today is the day where you guys should be voting whether to remain or to leave the European Union. Remember, we're not going to be leaving Europe, the continent, because we'll never leave the Europe continent. We can't shift our beautiful country, or countries rather, Ireland and England, Scotland and Wales. We can't move those countries away from the EU. We can't. We're out of the European continent. However, we can shift ourselves away from the European Union. Would you want to do that? Or do you think it's too much at stake? Now, I've made a list that I want you guys to consider. You can believe it's true, you can believe what you want. But I voted to leave the European Union, and these are some of the reasons why. I think I made around about just over 8-7 points as to why we should leave the EU. I said EU, European Union, is an anti-democratic union. Commissioners and presidents of the EU are appointed, not elected. Brussels make majority of our laws. Whilst you may argue they protect our rights and businesses, not all actually do help. Before we went into the EU, it was called the Common Market. We made our own laws to initiate maternity leave, maximum working hours and the national minimum wage. Euro is failing and you know it. Take a look at Greece. Take a look at the exchange rates and the country's GDP in the EU and compare it with the country's GDPs outside the EU. It is lower than the countries outside of the EU. The Swiss, Norway, New Zealand have better economy and growing faster than the European Union. We cannot. That was the third point. I've made 3 points already apparently. Fourth point. We cannot hold the officials accountable if they do something wrong in the European Union. We cannot kick them out, but here in the UK we can hold the government to account and we can vote or kick them out when possible. Fifth point, European Union has too many regulations and it is a big trade bloc. The idea of just focusing on Europe to trade is actually narrow-minded in my opinion. We can do more trade with Australia, New Zealand, Japan, China and especially Norway. Sixth point, this is a good point. Norwegian President / Prime Minister said he will invest in our country greatly if there was a Brexit or Brexit. Seventh point, if we leave, we'll be able to control our borders. And by the way, I'm not such an anti-immigration fan, but I do believe it should be at acceptable levels. But we can set the criteria that suits us. We can have almost like an Australian style point system. You could say I'm a UKIPper, but I'm not. But this is our country. This is the United Kingdom's country, so it will be our own criteria that will help the economy, the society as a whole, and hopefully we won't have much of a strain on the NHS. Yes, I do argue that the immigration and that migrants or whatever coming into our country can help the NHS, but it can also work against the NHS. It just depends on the levels, and the current levels we can all agree that it's on like unacceptable levels. Okay, we can still attract the intelligent people who want to work or be taught here in the UK to help our NHS and contribute to our economy. I am sick of the obsession with the EU. We can still trade with Europe, and but we should focus on the world, not just the European continent. It is a close-minded a reality that we have. Whilst I am not an expert, I voted with my conscience and thought about my future family that I may have. I believe leaving is a better and safer option for the UK. I could list more, to be honest with you. Also, I don't buy the view of the Remain side that we should stay in the EU because it'll be bad for our economy, loss of jobs. Either way, we still have risks. But they're just fear-mongering. Not only that, the experts that they refer to get EU funding. So like I would believe the experts' point of view, let's send Brussels a strong message that we won't be dictated. Vote leave and vote for democracy, basically. If you vote in leave, you're pro-democracy. That's my opinion. And if you don't believe that the fact that EU is anti-democratic, well, you need to look at the facts. Because I've seen them, I've read upon them, I've done my research for the past coming month, weeks, and this is my conclusion. Now, for others it'll be different. I respect your opinion, but if you're voting leave, my opinion, if you're voting to remain, in my opinion, you're just basically closing yourself off from the world. Anyways, that'll be all. And if you wonder why I'm shirtless, it's because it's really hot here. And yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe. And happy voting.